Have you ever been so angry that you forgot who you were? So hurt that you pushed away everyone trying to help you? This is the story of a girl who walked into the principal's office as a rebel and walked out as someone completely different. What happened in those 20 minutes would change her life forever. It was a Tuesday morning, and the classroom was buzzing with the usual energy of students pretending to pay attention, but in the back row, Amara Johnson wasn't pretending anything. She sat with her feet propped up on the desk, chewing gum like she owned the place, her eyes daring anyone to say something. Mrs. Okonkwo, the mathematics teacher, had dealt with difficult students before, but Amara was different. She wasn't just misbehaving. She was angry at the world, angry at her circumstances, and taking it out on everyone around her. Amara, Mrs. Okonkwo said firmly, please remove your feet from the desk and pay attention. Amara rolled her eyes dramatically. I'm listening, Ma, she said, her voice dripping with sarcasm. The classroom went quiet. Everyone knew what was coming. Then perhaps you can answer the question on the board, Mrs. Okonkwo challenged. Amara shrugged, her face a mask of defiance. Perhaps I don't feel like it. Gasps rippled through the classroom. Students exchanged nervous glances. Everyone knew Amara had just crossed a line that couldn't be uncrossed. Mrs. Okonkwo's voice was steady but firm. Amara, that's enough. Go to the principal's office. Now. For a moment, just a flicker, fear flashed across Amara's face, but she quickly buried it under layers of bravado. She stood up, grabbed her bag, and slammed it on her shoulder. Gladly, she announced to the class, anything's better than this boring class anyway. She stormed toward the door and slammed it behind her with enough force to rattle the windows, but as soon as she stepped into the empty corridor, that confidence began to crack. The hallway stretched before her like a prison corridor. Her footsteps echoed off the walls, each one louder than her heartbeat. Amara walked slowly, her earlier bravado melting away with each step. The walk to the principal's office is never just a walk. It's a journey where your thoughts become your worst enemy. And Amara's mind was racing. She remembered her mother's face that morning, tired, exhausted from working 2 jobs since Amara's father left 6 months ago. Her mother who kissed her forehead and said, "Make me proud today, baby." She remembered her grandmother's words from the week before. Education is not just about books, my child. It's about respect, discipline, and becoming someone your family can be proud of. And she remembered something else. She remembered the girl she used to be, the girl who got straight A's in primary school, the girl who dreamed of becoming a doctor, the girl who believed she could change the world. When did that girl disappear? When did anger replace ambition? When did she start wearing disrespect like armor? Amara's steps slowed as she approached the principal's office. Her hands trembled slightly. This wasn't her first time being in trouble, but something felt different today. Today felt like a turning point. The bench outside the principal's office was hard and uncomfortable, which seemed fitting. Amara sat down heavily, suddenly feeling more tired than she'd ever felt in her life. She wasn't alone. Another student sat nearby, a boy named Quame from Form 3. He looked nervous, his leg bouncing up and down, his fingers drumming on his knee. First time, he asked quietly, breaking the heavy silence. Amara shot him a defensive look. What's it to you? Quame raised his hands in surrender, just asking. I've been here 3 times this term. He paused, staring at his shoes each time. I told myself it was everyone else's fault. The teachers didn't understand me. The system was unfair. My classmates were jealous. Amara said nothing, but she was listening. I got suspended last week, Quame continued, his voice barely above a whisper. My mother had to leave work to come pick me up. When we got home, she didn't yell. She didn't punish me. She just cried. He looked up, and Amara could see the pain in his eyes. She didn't cry because she was angry, he said. She cried because she was disappointed. And you know what? That hurt more than any punishment ever could. Because I realized I wasn't just failing in school, I was failing her. I was failing myself. Before Amara could respond, the office door opened. The secretary, a kind-faced woman in her 50s, looked directly at her. Amara Johnson, she said softly, the principal will see you now. Amara stood up, her legs feeling like lead. This was it. The moment of truth. She took a deep breath and walked through that door, not knowing that her entire life was about to change. Principal Adebayo's office wasn't what Amara expected. It wasn't cold or intimidating. It was warm, filled with books, certificates on the walls, and photos of students who had graduated over the years. The principal herself sat behind a modest wooden desk, reviewing papers with a calm focus. "Sit down, Amara," she said without looking up. Amara sat, still trying to hold on to what was left of her tough exterior. She crossed her arms and stared at a spot on the wall, refusing to make eye contact. For a long moment, Principal Adebayo said nothing. She simply continued reading, the silence growing heavier with each passing second. Finally, she looked up. "Do you know why you're here?" she asked, her voice calm but penetrating. Amara shrugged, still trying to play it cool. "Because Mrs. Okonkwo can take a joke." Principal Adebayo didn't react to the provocation. Instead, she stood up and walked to the window, looking out at the schoolyard below where students were playing during break time. "No," she said quietly. "You're here because you disrespected your teacher, disrupted the learning environment for your classmates, and most importantly, you disrespected yourself." Amara couldn't help herself. "How did I disrespect myself?" she asked, her voice dripping with skepticism. Principal Adebayo turned from the window, and for the first time, Amara saw something unexpected in her eyes. Not anger, not disappointment, but understanding. "Let me tell you a story," the principal said, walking slowly around her desk. 25 years ago, a young girl sat in that exact same chair you're sitting in now. She was angry at the world. She thought school was pointless, that teachers were just there to make her life difficult, and that nobody understood what she was going through. Amara's defenses started to lower, curiosity getting the better of her. "What happened to her?" Principal Adebayo smiled softly and gestured to herself. "She's standing right in front of you." Amara's eyes widened in genuine surprise. This confident, accomplished woman had been like her. "I was you, Amara," Principal Adebayo continued, returning to her chair. "Bright, capable, full of potential. But I was too proud, too hurt, too angry to see that the only person I was really hurting was myself. I was so busy building walls that I couldn't see the bridges people were trying to build for me." She opened a drawer and pulled out a file. Amara's file. "One teacher believed in me enough to challenge me," the principal said, "to refuse to give up on me, even when I had given up on myself. She did something that changed everything. She held up a mirror and asked me one simple question." Principal Adebayo opened the file, scanning through the pages. "Straight A's throughout primary school," she read aloud. "Top of your class in Form 1, second in your grade in Form 2, teachers' comments, brilliant mind, natural leader, exceptional potential." Amara sat in silence for a moment, processing everything. She felt lighter somehow, like confessing the truth had lifted a weight she didn't even know she was carrying. "What happens now?" she asked quietly. Principal Adebayo stood and walked back to her desk, but her tone remained warm. "Here's what's going to happen," she said. "You're going to apologize to Mrs. Okonkwo, not because I'm forcing you, but because respect is a choice you make for yourself and for others. When you disrespect someone else, you diminish your own character." Amara nodded. "Yes, Ma. You'll also be assigned to lunch duty for 2 weeks. You'll help serve food and clean up. It will teach you responsibility and give you perspective." "I understand." "And one more thing," Principal Adebayo said, her eyes twinkling with something that looked like hope. "Every Wednesday after school, you'll meet with me. We'll work on your studies together, and we'll talk about whatever's bothering you, life, school, family, whatever you need." Amara looked up in surprise. "You do that for me? Why?" Principal Adebayo smiled that knowing smile again. "Because 25 years ago, someone did it for me. A teacher stayed after school every week to tutor me, to listen to me, to believe in me when I didn't believe in myself. She changed my life. Now it's my turn to pay it forward." She stood and extended her hand across the desk. "So, Amara Johnson, I'm going to ask you one more time. Who do you want to be? Amara stood up. She looked at that outstretched hand. And for the first time in months, she saw it clearly. This wasn't a punishment. This was a lifeline. A second chance. A new beginning. She reached out and shook the principal's hand firmly. I want to be someone my family can be proud of, she said, her voice steady and clear. Someone I can be proud of. Someone who doesn't run from challenges but faces them head on. I want to be the girl I used to be. No. Better than that. I want to be the woman I'm meant to become. Principal Adebayo's smile widened. Then that's exactly who you'll be. Welcome back, Amara. We've missed you. An hour later, Amara stood outside Mrs. Okonkwo's classroom. Through the window, she could see her classmates working on assignments. Her heart pounded. This was harder than she thought it would be. But then she remembered Principal Adebayo's words. Courage isn't about being fearless. It's about being afraid and choosing to try anyway. She took a deep breath, knocked on the door, and walked in. The classroom went silent. Everyone turned to stare at her. She felt their eyes, their judgment, their curiosity. Mrs. Okonkwo, she said, her voice clear despite her nerves. May I speak with you? The teacher looked up, surprised but receptive. Yes, Amara? Amara walked to the front of the class. If she was going to do this, she was going to do it right. No hiding. No half measures. I want to apologize, she said, loud enough for everyone to hear. My behavior this morning was disrespectful and wrong. You didn't deserve that. This class didn't deserve that. And honestly, I didn't deserve to treat myself that way either. I'd like to do better if you'll give me the chance. For a moment, Mrs. Okonkwo said nothing, then she smiled, a genuine warm smile that reached her eyes. Apology accepted, Amara, she said softly. We all have difficult days. What matters is what we choose to do next. Your seat is waiting for you. Amara nodded, walked to her desk, and for the first time in months, took out her notebook and actually focused on the lesson. As she wrote, she felt something she hadn't felt in a long time. Hope, purpose, and the beginning of pride in herself. Sometimes the principal's office isn't a place of punishment. Sometimes it's a place where you meet the person you're meant to become, where walls come down and bridges are built, where second chances are given and gratefully received. Amara learned something that day that no textbook could teach her. She learned that respect, discipline, and courage aren't about being perfect. They're about being real, about admitting when you're struggling, about accepting help when it's offered, and about choosing, every single day, to be a little bit better than you were yesterday. Change doesn't happen overnight, but it starts with a single decision. A single moment when you choose to stop running and start growing. That Tuesday afternoon, a girl walked into the principal's office carrying anger and fear, and she walked out carrying something far more valuable. Hope for who she could become. Who do you want to be? It's a question we all must answer. Not tomorrow. Not someday. But right now. In this moment. Because every moment is a chance to choose who we become.